What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Respectfully. I am your host, Cameron Farmer, and let's go ahead and get right into this, man. We're going to talk about two things. I was going to say three, but we're going to talk about two plus a bonus. Number one, we're going to talk about Georgia's um, road ahead without Brock Bowers for the next few weeks. We're going to talk about NBA season preview, and then I mentioned a bonus. Number one, for this upcoming Saturday for the Georgia Bulldogs, they go to Jacksonville, Florida, to take on the Florida Gators, who are 5-2 overall. Um, Obviously, they won't be with Brock Bowers, who had a high ankle sprain against their win. I'm sorry, during their win against Vanderbilt, the Vanderbilt Commodores, uh, last Saturday, the 14th of October. And my thoughts are it sucks, but I'm not worried. And the reason why I say that I'm not worried doesn't really come from a place of being nonchalant. Obviously, with Brock Bowers and being a very um, important piece, the last two championship runs and also this year, and seeing how he literally and physically took control of the game at Auburn in Jordan Hare a few weeks ago. You want him on your team. That's a given. The man is arguably a top five draft pick should he decide to declare. But the man, you want Brock Bowers on your team. I think any college in the country would be lucky to have Brock Bowers. Obviously, we know the gifts that he has. We know I know what he brings to this team offensively and even defensively. I mean, obviously he's blocking, because that's his job. He's a tight end, so he blocks. He's an extension. He's an extra blocker. Uh, but I'm not worried. It sucks because obviously, like I said, you want to have Brock Bowers on the team. Does he increase your chances of winning the game by a million? Absolutely. But I'm not worried. This entire season has led me to believe that should one of these leaders go down, with maybe the exception of Carson Beck, I'm not worried. It's very simple. Allow me to take you all back to the Kentucky game, and I know a lot of people, some of y'all probably be like, "Well, Cam, why are you going back to the Kentucky game? That was like 3 weeks ago." You're right. It was 3 weeks ago. But if there was any game, with maybe the exception of Auburn, if there was any game that led me to believe that this is a team that looks like a team that's going to three-peat, look no further than the game when they played Kentucky. That was probably the best game, their best win of the season so far. Coming in and dismantling the offense, the Kentucky's offense, led by Ray Davis at the time, who was fourth in the NCAA with yards ran. We have weapons, and that's why I'm not worried. We have running backs. We have people like Kendall Milton, Dejon Edwards, Roderick Robinson, who was coming back, who was supposed to be playing on Saturday. And keep in mind, when before Dejon Edwards took over, Roderick Robinson was the lead. He was the leading rusher on the team in the first 2 weeks of the season. We have Kendall Miltons. We have Roderick Robinsons. We have Ty Keith. I'm sorry, Ty Keith Smith's on the deep. We do have Ty Keith Smith, but he's on the defense. But in terms of the offense, we have Oscar Delps. We have Ra Thomas. We have Dominic Lovett. I mean, we also have an offensive line. And need I remind you, we have Lad McConkey. Need I remind you, we also have Carson Beck. I'm going to say that again. We have Carson Beck. Carson Beck has improved every single game. And keep in mind, I'm not saying all of I know how people may think, oh, Cam, he's just saying all this because he's wearing because he goes to the school, B, he's wearing their attire. Uh well, no, I know a little football. I know a little. I know the threat that Florida poses. I know the threat that Missouri is going to pose next week. I know the threat that Ole Miss is going to pose the week after. I know the threat that Tennessee poses when they go to Knoxville, the 18th. I ain't gonna say I really I don't know what threat Georgia Tech poses, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Every SEC team, every SEC team. If you ever wonder why the SEC is such a difficult place to win, whether you're home or on the road, look no further than the competitive nature of the SEC. The SEC. We have offense, we have defense, we have Malachi Starks, we have Javon Bullard, we have Chaz Chambliss, we have a defensive line. Our linebackers and our secondary, the formations that they run, yo, our weapons can cover and mask the absence of Brock Bowers. Like I said, do you want him on your team? Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. But just because he's gone don't mean we're necessarily done. Last time I checked, Georgia was still number 1 in the conference. Last time I checked, Georgia persevered at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. Now, I know I said Brock Bowers physically took control, but there were other pieces that had to align just so that Brock could do his thing. And we have Carson Beck. He has an arm. He can run. And above all else, he has an offensive line that can protect him. Ratledge is coming back. I believe Truss is coming back. He should be playing this Saturday. Don't quote me on that. Even if Truss doesn't play, we still have weapons. We have weapons. And I believe that Georgia's going to be fine. Obviously, you're marching into a neutral territory, but Georgia, if Georgia has beaten Florida in Jacksonville so many times. They can do it again this Saturday. But that doesn't mean that Georgia expects that Florida will be a cakewalk. No, absolutely not. I got to put my journalist hat on. I know how good Florida is. Do I think that they will beat Georgia? No. Do I think that they can? You like your chances, especially without Brock Bowers. But again, we have weapons. So that's that. I'm looking forward to that game. Um, Saturday. I'm gonna be watching it uh, with Dad and the little bro. So I'm excited and I can't wait. On to other news. It is the start of the NBA season. It starts tomorrow night at 7:30 with the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the defending champions. I'm not Golden State Warriors, the Denver Nuggets, and the Phoenix Suns visiting the Golden State Warriors. I kind of want to focus on just my overall preview because it's easy to say what I think about so many of these teams, but I want to focus on the preview. This is probably the most exciting NBA season yet. There are so many familiar faces in different places. I could care less of how that sounds, but that's true. The team that I'm really excited about outside of the Los Angeles Clippers, because they will win it all if things go the way that I hope, you know, things go the way that I hope for them to go. I'm excited for the Bucks. I really like the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. As much to put on my basketball hat for a second. As much as we talk about the pick and roll, uh, ever so often do we, or rarely do we ever talk about the pick and fade. And for those of you that have been living under a rock, Damian Lillard, who is the Trailblazers' all-time leading scorer, one of the most gifted shooters this game has ever seen, was just traded to the Milwaukee Bucks early in September and will be paired with superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here's why the pick and roll or the pick and fade will work. Because like I said, ever so often do we ever talk about the pick and the fade. Everybody knows pick and roll, but do we ever, sometimes we forget pick and fade. The pick and fade will actually work because Dame averaged 7 assists a game when he was with Portland. Also, you have so many different combinations. You have Dame and Giannis. You have Dame and Brook Lopez. You have Dame and Jay Crowder. You have Chris Middleton, Jay Crowder. You have Chris Middleton and Giannis. You have Chris Middleton and Brook. You're so then you have Cameron Payne, who was honestly an underrated pickup. Excuse me. You also have Cam Payne and Giannis, Cam Payne and Brook Lopez. There are so many different combinations. And what I mean by the pick and fade, it's really how the pick and roll works. Point guard comes up the floor. If the ball handler wants to go right, the big man will come and set the screen, and the big man, as the ball handler is going to the basket, right after the pick is the pick has been set, the big man will roll to the basket, hoping for a pass or I wouldn't necessarily say a shot, but hoping for a pass from the ball handler, or whether or not he decides to pass to his other options. But the pick and fade is exactly how I explained in the pick and roll. The only difference is the person that's setting the pick will literally just fall back, whether it's a mid range or a 3-point shot. We will see a lot of that from Dame and Giannis. Not because Giannis is a great 3-point shooter. Statistically, he's not a good 3-point shooter at all. He shot 27.5 from 3. But his mid-range has improved. You also, when you talk about Brook Lopez, you have Dame and Brook Lopez. You have Dame and Jay Crowder, who in my personal opinion is also a big man. He's a good body to have as well. You also have Chris Middleton. You also have Cameron Payne as well, who are great ball handlers. So we're gonna see a lot of that from Milwaukee, and like I said, I'm excited. Do I believe that they are going to win it all outside of the Clippers? I do, but like I said, the season hasn't even started yet, and like I said, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Also, when I said familiar faces in new places, James Harden. This entire offseason, James Harden has been tied to the Los Angeles Clippers, primarily because that's his place of preference for which he wants to be at. No, please don't come to the Clippers. Please don't come. James Harden does not need to be with the Clippers. He does not. And at the same time, all of this is it's annoying because you see, well, James Harden is still holding out even 1 to 2 days before opening night. it kind of lets you know that he is telling the truth. I do believe he was lied to by Daryl Morey. There are things that Daryl Morey has lied about. And I do believe James Harden has every right to be upset, because one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit here and say what people should feel and how they should feel, because that, for lack of a better word, that's lame. It's lame. But I will say this though, I don't want James Harden to come to the Clippers, because I don't want the Clippers to have to deal with that mess. Basketball wise, would I love him on my team? Sure. But not with that mess, bro. You forced your way out of Houston. You forced your way out of Brooklyn. Personally, I don't think that was your fault as to why you forced yourself out of Brooklyn. And now you're forcing your way out of Philadelphia. Do I believe that this is Daryl Morey's fault? I do. But I don't believe James Harden should be, because there's money on the table. You're leaving a lot of money on the table. James Harden is literally leaving a lot of money on the table. So I'm interested to see where he'll end up. The most ideal would probably be the Miami Heat, because they need another star with Jimmy. But like I thoroughly believe that people like Pat Riley wouldn't take James Harden into the Miami Heat just because of what has been going on with him. And if you are comfortable enough of leaving money on the table for the sake of your preference of going to another team, of trying to force your way out, dude, you got a lot of money, man. Yo, to just, because apparently with the NBA, that's like 300,000 a game. So I'm curious to see how this all turns out. I'm going to be following the story, and yeah, this is the best NBA season yet of what's to come. But on to the bonus topic, because we have like 8 minutes left. But I won't use the entire 8 minutes to get my point across. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce is arguably the greatest tight end to ever play this game. Taylor Swift is the number one recording artist in the world. Yada, yada, yada. The NFL coverage and ESPN coverage of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce as a relationship together. We get it. I get it. I'm speaking for myself. I get it. Yesterday, I saw an Instagram post where ESPN or SportsCenter or whomever posted that Taylor Swift was wearing a bracelet, and there was literally a digital magnifying glass where it literally zoomed in on what was on her bracelet, and it literally had 87. ESPN, y'all doing way too much, bruh. Way too much. I'm not disrespecting Taylor as a person. I'm not disrespecting Travis Kelce as like. I know that everybody loves Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift together. It's dope. I guess it's good. Travis, apparently they found love. Great, dope. Even Travis Kelce has personally admitted that the NFL is overdoing it a little bit. But we get it, bro. We get that they're in a relationship. Do I care? No. Do a lot of people not care? Yes. They don't care. Let's just keep it about the game. Let's just keep it about the sport. I don't care what's on her wrist. As a consumer of ESPN, as a consumer of Instagram, and as somebody who loves ESPN and follows them and watches them every single day, I don't want to know what was on Taylor Swift's wrist regarding a relationship bracelet. Are we surprised that she had a bracelet that had 87 on it? No. Why? Because they're in every headline. They're in every headline. Who cares? They've been dating for what? A month? A month. There was literally breaking news that said that Adam Schefter, who is the senior NFL insider for ESPN, Taylor Swift will be at Arrowhead to watch Travis Kelce play. Great. There's no reason for it to be news, especially if people are trying at that time, we're trying to confirm whether or not Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were dating. Why y'all trying to be up in their business? Mind your business. It's very simple. Oh, I think they love the attention. I'm going to be real with you. We got to stop treating these celebrities like they're God and start treating God like he's God, please. It's great. It's dope to have the curiosity. Oh my God, is Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce? Oh my God, go. It's great to have that curiosity. But dude, they human just like you and me. They bleed the same just like you and me. They got to get up and brush their teeth just like you and me. But, oh, Cam's just hating. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I'm personally not hating, but I can't stop people from thinking what they want to think. We get it. All right. That's the end of today's episode. I will be back soon with more analysis, reactions from the Georgia game, reactions from opening week, rather, from the NBA. And yeah, y'all have a good rest of your Monday. God bless you. Stay safe. Love.